Most people think that making positive changes in their lives and businesses is difficult, but it's easier than you think. Dr. Stephanie Aldrich created the Habit Formula book, and she wants you to have a free copy of it. In the Habit Formula, you will learn what habits are, where habits come from, and how to form new ones. Habits rule everything in your life, whether you realize it or not. Get your free copy of the Habit Formula today. Go to thehabitformulabook.com for more information. Hey everybody, you know what time it is. It's lunchtime with the Habit Master. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Aldrich, and I help people change their habits. When you change your habits, tweak those daily routines that we all get accustomed to, you can change your results and finally get unstuck and hit the goals that you want to hit. So today is Famous Friday, and for the next week and the coming weeks in September, we're going to talk about innovators, people that we can learn from. We can hopefully learn their habits and try to improve our world, our daily lives, humanity as a whole, right? So we got to think big. We got to think out of the box. We got to think thoughts that we don't know how we're going to accomplish these things, but we can't be afraid to try. And that's where our imagination and creativity come into play. And we're going to go over one of my favorite masterminds of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. But before we do, I want to tell everybody, if you want to dive deeper into this material, you want to make 2019 the best year ever, grab a free copy of my book at thehabitformulabook.com. It's going to walk you through step by step what you really want to change in your life, how you're going to do it, and then the steps that you need to take to actually meet your goals. Go right now. Grab your free copy of thehabitformulabook.com. Thehabitformulabook.com. You also can dive into even more of the material by taking one of my classes. Just upgrade your order. It's all there at thehabitformulabook.com, okay? It's totally changed my life. Hundreds of other people have used not only the information, the steps, the formula in the book, but they've also taken the courses, and the results they're getting are just magnificent. It's changed my life the past few years, the way I'm living. I'm so much more happier. I'm having fun. I mean, look at me today. I even grew a mustache for you guys. Look at me. You can have the same thing. Get out of your mundane, mediocre lives. Stop doing the same thing every day and do something fun. Do whatever you want to do, and we can help you with that. Go to thehabitformulabook.com. So today is Famous Friday, so we are going to explore the world of Leonardo da Vinci. He was born in 1452 and he died in 1519. So he was around 67 years old, right? And Leonardo da Vinci, da means from, he was born in Vinci, which is a little town in Italy, right? So he's Leonardo from Vinci, okay? And he didn't have any really formal education. It's not like his family was wealthy or, he was surrounded by a lot of people that, could send him to school formally. But what he did was he surrounded himself with people that had deeper thoughts, that were thinking things out of the box, and he absorbed that information. He learned from observing and started developing his own thoughts, his own creativity, his own imagination, and became one of the world's most famous masterminds of his time and even today. Okay, so we're going to go over 4 things that Leonardo, 4 traits that he had, and then we're going to put a spin on them so that you and I can use these traits for ourselves to build a better life and to actually build habits that can get us the results that we want. So the first thing that Leonardo is he was a procrastinator. I don't know if it's O-R-E-R, but it doesn't matter. He was a procrastinator. He was always learning new things. And it's not procrastination as you and I probably do today, okay? It's more of he was almost like a perfectionist. He wanted it to be, all of his projects to be the best that it could be. And for him, he was willing to take the time to develop his skill set, to learn different aspects of whether he was painting or creating a sculpture or doing some kind of engineering feat or architecture feat. He was willing to take his time in it. He was very detail oriented, and to be detailed and to get it right, he needed to procrastinate. He needed to take his time to finish a project, right? So that he knew what his image was, his vision of what he wanted to create. And when he first started all of these things, he knew he couldn't complete that. He couldn't be satisfied with what he was doing. So what he would do was he would take his time. He would do a little bit at a time. And then finally, once he knew he could give the final product of his vision, then he went for it. And he worked hard, he worked tirelessly, and he gave all of his resources, his time, his money, his effort, all of his energy to finishing the project. So for instance, like the Mona Lisa, he's very famous for the Mona Lisa, right? Took him 7 years. So he formed the basic drawing, but then to capture all of the shadowing and all of the very detailed characteristics of the Mona Lisa's face, it took him 7 years to do that. I know for myself, I don't even like doing braces because it takes 2-3 years to have an outcome, right? I love to see the outcome right away. So for me, being too detail oriented, that is against my whole being. And, looking at this stuff today, it's kind of made me think, well, maybe I need to slow down a little bit, right? So, like for another instance is the Sistine Chapel took him 4 years. Even the Last Supper took 3 years to complete. So being detail oriented can actually make you make a masterpiece, can really put a spin on something, really make it special, make it one of a kind. I just know for me, that's not my personality. I want quick results, and it almost seems like I like to feed on the results that I get quickly, because then to me, that springboards my skill, my talent, all of it, to keep going, to create. So he had to somehow have that internal fuel that said, you know what? I'm not good enough yet. My vision isn't coming, into fruition of how I want it to look, right? He had the tenacity, the persistence, and the fuel to keep going. And a lot of us aren't like that, right? So what we can get from his procrastination is learn to improve. Never be satisfied with where you are. Don't be satisfied, just completing a task to complete it, right? Did you complete it to the best of your ability? Did you finish a project to your vision, to what you think you could do, to your potential? I think from Leonardo we can get the sense that he was never satisfied with his present being. He always wanted to improve his skill set, improve himself as a person, and that's something we can learn from him. So it's not that you're procrastinating because you're lazy, you don't want to finish things. It's that you're waiting until the right moment when all your skills, all of your creativity comes together to form something special, to form something that other people can use to improve their lives. Okay? So number 2 that we can learn from good old Da Vinci is that he was an observer. So during the Renaissance time, during that time in Europe, the art of science really wasn't an important thing, right? Most of the thinking, most of the scholarly thought of the day was to base everything off of religion, off of the religious and spiritual teachings of the day and of prior days, but also not only religion, but circumstance, superstition. You know, these guys still believed in witches and, you know, things that they couldn't explain, so they kind of put it off into the devil's work kind of thing, right? Da Vinci wasn't like that. He opened his mind up and started recording what he saw. He used his senses to jump into the human body. He would dissect things. He was very interested in the science of flight. He would buy birds and then let them just go and observe how their wings, were. He would dissect them to see what is their body proportions to, their wingspans, and, what are they made of? Why are they so light but yet so strong that they can fly through the air? And with those observations of his life, he started making drawings. He recorded many dissections and, different contraptions that he and his imagination could think of that explained why. He was a big proponent of why. Why were things the way they were, okay? Why did the stars do what they did? Why did the sun come up in a certain time? Why did our body, why do our bodies work the way that they work? He used to dissect all kinds of things, and he also wrote them down, which was a big change of thought for that time of day, okay? During that time, you wouldn't see this. He noticed that in this particular picture, that once the body is here, it's actually symmetrical once you start raising your arms and your legs, right? And you could draw a complete circle. And it was simple observations that were very powerful, and they helped to describe proportions of things and how things are related to each other. And that was a big thought paradigm back then. People weren't thinking that. It was all God's work, and if not, then it was the devil's work. It wasn't really scientifically based until Leonardo started observing things and writing them down, okay? So what can we in 2019 get from Leonardo being an observer and recording things? Awareness. We can use the awareness that we have of our lives, of the people around us, of our environment, of our cultural beliefs, of our values. And if you're aware of where you are now and you want to change something, you want to improve yourself, you want to lose weight, you want a loving relationship, you want to increase your wealth or your prosperity, you want to invest differently, whatever it is that you want differently, you have to have awareness of where you are today, of where you are starting right now. When you do that, then you can see where you want to go, right? You want to see where you started, and now you're seeing where you want to go. And then you just connect the dots, right? Awareness. That's what we can learn from Leonardo on this subject, is awareness of our surroundings, of what we have to do to be better, to improve ourselves, to, not take whatever we do today and not actually increase our knowledge and our skill set, right? So awareness is a big one that even in the habit formula, it's the first part of the formula is awareness. You have to be aware of why you have the habits that you do. And to do that, you have to do a little self-discovery. Okay? Number 3, he was diversified. And I don't mean that he had diversified investments, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. He was diversified in his skill set. He was hired as a chief engineer for the Italian army, okay? Or military. And what he did was he was in charge of creating new mechanical devices that could be used in war to obviously save Italian soldiers and to defeat the enemy, okay? Out of that, there were crude drawings of what we now think of as a helicopter, of a catapult, of a parachute. And there's just thousands more, okay? Even his drawings today are being used by NASA and all of the other scientists because, all of his observations, right? The observations that he made, all of the drawings that he made were recorded. And it's something that once we have developed and evolved our own culture and scientific methods, we can kind of draw from the past and see what similarities there are. Was he on the right path? Okay? But he was very well diversified. He was also a sculptor, right? He was an artist. He loved doing all those drawings and that for the military, but he also loved just art, the body forms, right? Coming back to this one, the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper. He loved shadowing. He loved trying to represent and draw what he saw, right? And he became very skilled at that. He was also a teacher. Later on in his career, when his fame started increasing, he started his own kind of school. He had his own studio, and he taught his pupils how to paint, how to observe reality, and then transfer that, because remember, there was no iPhones, there was no cameras back then, so they recorded what they saw by doing drawings and paintings. And he taught those skills to other people, and the legacy continues. He was also a mathematician and scientist, obviously, because he observed his surroundings, his environment, and started thinking, why are these things like that? So, one thing we can get from him being diversified and having many skill sets is learn new things. Just because you go to school for 12 years and then you go to college for 4, and like me, another 4 years, this is life, folks. Nothing stays the same. Learn new things. Be a continuous, lifelong student. There's so many things that we don't know. And the older, especially for myself, the older that I get, the more I know that I don't know everything. And it just fascinates me. I was just finishing a book last night, and it was called Mind to Matter. And it's a scientific approach with many, many studies quoted. The index was humongous and the reference bibliography was humongous, of scientific studies that have been done in the past probably 20 years that help to justify the fact that our thoughts are things. They can control our reality. And the fact is, when you're thinking a thought, it creates neural pathways that are connected, right? So, our brain cells become connected. And over time, when you keep triggering those, it's like working out and you get muscle. Those parts of the brain become larger. And it was just fascinating to me that we're finally smart enough, right? We finally come up with enough creativity and knowledge to actually prove this stuff scientifically, that it does work, right? Always be learning new things, because you can learn new things and then implement those to make your own life better, to help your family out. What if you learned a new skill set today that can increase your wealth later on, give you more money, maybe give you more time with your family, to go on vacations, to have awesome experiences that you've never done before? Think of the foundation that you're going to build for your children. Think of the legacy that you're going to leave for your family and multi-generations when you do this. Always be learning. Observe your outside world. Become aware of what you don't know, and then go find it. Explore the hobbies that you love. Do the things that drive you, that make you a better person, and then give those skills back to the world. We need more things like that. We need more people that are special and that want to share with other people to brighten their day, to get them out of their mediocre ways, and to help inspire everybody, right? More love, more knowledge, and of course, more wealth for our families, okay? And the last thing is something I just touched about, and it's legacy. When Leonardo died, he left over 7,000 pages worth of drawings, observations, of theories to carry on his work for others. Okay? So not only all these scientific observations, but think, you can go now. I'm pretty sure the Louvre has it, but I'm not 100% sure because I've never actually seen it. You can go and see the Mona Lisa. And I know I think they said it's only like this big, right? It's very tiny. You could go to the Sistine Chapel. You can go to, and see the Last Supper. You can actually see his work. And that was done hundreds and hundreds of years prior. NASA is still studying his 7,000 pages of works, his thoughts of physics, which he wasn't properly trained on, right? Of quantum physics, of metaphysics, of biology. The concepts, they may not be 100% correct, but maybe he was on to something. Maybe he was starting a theory that now we can prove and use to build a bigger foundation for another idea or for something more concrete that actually happens, right? He left us a legacy. So, this can be translated for us as make your mark. What do you want to be remembered by or about or from? You're a great spouse. That's awesome. Everybody wants to be a great spouse. You're a great parent. Of course you want to be a great parent, right? You took care of everybody. Okay? You're a caregiver. Okay? That's wonderful to do. But in 500 years from now, so 6, 7, 8 generations from now? Is there anything that you've done, and it doesn't have to be Elon Musk and PayPal and Tesla and, the space program. It doesn't have to be that big of a thing. But I want you to think about this today. How are you going to make your mark on the world that in 500 years from now, there's a possibility that somebody is using your materials? Okay? I know for myself, starting to write books, right? Here's the habit formula. Here is 7 laws of the universe. I read this booklet every day. It is just the cutest little booklet. Of course, it's included in the habit formula courses. But it talks about how to use the laws of the universe, just like gravity, just like momentum, all of those laws that, we probably ignored in high school, right? How do we use them to improve our lives, right? I wrote this book, Nothing But the Tooth, 11 Questions You Should Ask Your Dentist, right? Simple stuff. But guess what? It's on Amazon. People can buy it, and I still get royalty checks for it. And what's sad is I never did get this one edited. There's spelling errors, punctuation errors. I could definitely do better. And I have done better. This one's been edited, and it's an awesome freaking book. And it's a simple book, too. And that's what I want. I want everything to be simple, because if it's not simple, you're never going to do it, right? But I want to leave a legacy. My goal, before it's all said and done, I want to be at least published 20 times. And I'm already on 4, and it's at the printers. Or I'm sorry, it's at the editors getting edited, okay? I want to leave my mark so that my great-great-great-grandchildren have some life observances from me from 2019 on that maybe can help them get a better life. I want to leave some generational wealth too. That's what I want to do. I want to make my mark by doing that. What I want you to get out of today from good old Leonardo is, 1, improve yourself. Always try to be improving your skill set, your thoughts, your feelings, the way you treat other people, the way you act in this world. Try to improve yourself each and every day. Be a better person. Be healthier, right? We only live to be so old, right? Try to always be improving. The second thing is be aware. Observe things. Don't let your life just pass you by and let other people control it, or situations or circumstances. Be aware that you can control what happens in your life, how you act in it, how you respond to different situations, right? Be aware of where you're starting today and where you want to go beyond. You only have X amount of years on this planet, and we don't know when that's going to end. I really wish we would, because then I think people would act differently, right? But you should be acting differently. You need to be aware of what you're doing today and make today the best day ever. Accomplish everything you can today. Do not put it off. And I know, procrastinator, if you're joining us, no. It's about becoming better and improving yourself and being aware of where you are now and where you want to go and trying to get there, okay? And do everything you can in your power to get there. Number 3, always be learning new things. And that has to do with improving yourself too. Don't try to stay and create a humongous comfort zone with your jammy pants on and your chips on your belly and just wasting your life watching other people's lives. Live your life. Have adventure. Meet new people. Learn new skills. Enjoy hobbies that maybe, you never thought you could do. That's what it's all about. And I know Leonardo, he lived life to the fullest. And I hope that you guys can do that too. And the last thing is, when you're doing this, be great. Do everything the best way you can and make your mark. Teach other people something great. Write something. Paint something. Build something that generations from now, other people and your own family can observe, can use, can live by what you created. I mean, this just jacks me up today. I know it's Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend, right? But I want you to ground yourself in this lesson today and really think about the greatness that's in each of us. I know for me, I'm starting to explore this. There's not one day that I'm not working on one of these 4 things. Today I just did some more videos that you guys can see on YouTube. And it's all about inspiration, motivation, and actually how to live a better life. It really starts with you. It starts with your beliefs. It starts with your values. But it also starts with getting some action, getting some fuel in the tank to want to do better. So that's it for me today. Today is Friday. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. If you want to learn more about changing your habits and breaking the bad ones that aren't serving you, go to thehabitformulabook.com, grab a free copy. You can also upgrade your order and grab one of my courses. It will get you results so fast, it'll make your head spin. Okay? Also, if you're a podcaster, you can go to iTunes or Spotify and listen to the Lunchtime with the Habit Master shows. I upload those pretty much every day. And also my YouTube channel. I've got 5 new videos today that I'm going to upload besides this one. So 6 of them. And it talks all about habitual thinking. It talks about the 3 pillars of success, which is mindset, planning, and action, and how to live the life that you want. Go to Stephanie Aldrich, the Habit Master YouTube channel, and subscribe. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday.